yourself permission to dream. That's my short of encouragement to you today. A lot of time we just live life like the normal, like everybody else. Wake up, go to work, go to school, do our everyday stuff, come back home, watch TV, go to bed. It's just a normal everyday life that everybody's used to. But sometimes, we need to just pause and just think and say, why don't I give myself permission to dream? If money was not an issue, if I don't have to go to work, what would I love to do? If, I didn't have any barriers, what was I designed to do? Sometimes we just need to think out of the box. We're used to just, a lot of time, life just puts us in this box of, this is how you're meant to do things. You don't choose how you're meant to do it. It just puts us in this box. But sometimes we need to just say, I'm not going to stay in this box. I'm going to break out of the box. And I'm just going to think. I'm going to dream. And there's some dreams that God has put in my heart. And I'm just going to dream them. And I'm just going to live them. And I'm going to show the world that I can do what I was called to do. There's a young man in the Bible called Joseph. And he was a man. His story is a very interesting story. Joseph was a man that had a couple of brothers. He had a lot of brothers. And he was kind of like the second to the last child. So in those days, I can imagine. And the Bible even tells that he was a pampered child. He was really pampered by his dad. Loved him. He was a child of old age. But then his dad even made it worse by making him a coat of many colors. So the environment that Joseph was living in at the time was not a very friendly environment, because he was like a favorite child. So his brothers, they made it known to him that they didn't like him, and they just made it known to him. He knew. And that must have been a very, very toxic environment, very hard environment to live in. But you know what? Irregardless of what Joseph faced in his home with his brothers, because I'm trying to picture it was 21st century, how would he be living? But irregardless of the life that he lived, Joseph did what? He still had dreams. And when Joseph had dreams, he made his dreams known to his brothers, even though they didn't like him for it. It wasn't like it was going to be better, but the things that God put in his heart that he was going to do, he didn't know how they were going to come to pass, but he did not let his environment dictate to him. And that's one thing I want to put across to us today. I find in today's world, a lot of us let our environment dictate to us. Oh, I can only work this kind of job. Oh, I can only live this kind of life. Oh, so and so said, I can only go beyond here. So a lot of times we just stay within the box. We never want to live outside the box. And the funny thing, as long as we stay within the box, a lot of times in our comfort zone, we don't even know what is available to us outside. Joseph was a man that was not worried about what people were going to think about him. He just wanted to do all God had told him he was going to do. He didn't know how the dreams were going to come to pass, but he said, you know what? I saw this, and this in my dream, and he just believed they were going to come to pass. That's like, so whenever you read the story, you think, wow, even though he was in a toxic environment, it didn't really matter to him. So I'm putting across to you, there was also another man. His name is Walt Disney. When you look at this, whenever you see this, what do you think of? All of us this is like a reminder of a particular man. His name is Walt Disney. You see this and it was like, oh, I think of Disney World, I think of Disneyland. But Walt Disney was a man that thought outside the box. He had this quote. He says, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney could not be put in a box. Apparently, when he had his board meetings, if all the people around him said, if he asked them, oh, what do you think we should do with this idea? If everybody liked the idea, he would be like, no, we're not doing that idea. We're going to change it, but it's going to be a different idea. So he was always an out-of-the-box thinker. Walt Disney was a man that he just let his imagination run as wild as he could. When you visit Disney World, you just look at how could someone imagine all of the things that you see there, and there's still more is still coming up. But it was from a man's dream. He dreamed that there would be a place whereby you could go to, and it could just be a fairy tale place whereby you could just forget about whatever issues you're going through. And that's his dream. When we go to Disney World, we think, oh, this is a beautiful place. That is somebody's dream. So my thing to you today is, what are you able to dream? All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. What are those dreams in your heart? Are you dreaming big enough? A verse in the Bible says that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ever ask or think. All. Some version says all that we're ever able to dream. All that he can do beyond all you're able to imagine. According, what are you able to think? He's able to do even beyond all of that. He is able to do beyond that. But are you able to dream it? Are you able to say, oh God, this is what I feel like you're calling me to do? Are you able to say, I'm not going to stay within the box of what people think I should do? I'm going to step out. Because the word says, the sky is your limit. I say the sky should only be the beginning. We should not let the sky be our limit. What are you able to imagine? I believe our imagination is a gift that God has given to every human being. It's just there. It takes you to a different realm. It just helps you to think out of the box. It's what you think on continually that you ponder on. What are those dreams that you've had in your heart? You've been thinking, oh, what if it doesn't work? But what if it works? You never ever would know what is going to work until you do what? Until you try out. So today, my thing to you is, why don't you start living those dreams that God has put in your heart? A man of God, Miles Monroe, he says something. He says, the cemetery is the richest place on earth, because at the cemetery you find unwritten books, unwritten dreams. Unwritten books, you find dreams that were not fulfilled. They're just lying in people that, when people die, all those things go to the grave. So today, what are they going to say when you die? What are they going to say about you? Oh, she died empty. Everything she was called to do, she did it. We don't want you to say, oh, and I had that dream, but I didn't know. God, you gave it to me, but I didn't know if it was going to come to pass. So I didn't even try. No, He gave you that dream so that you can live it out. So my short to you is, why don't you give yourself permission to dream? Don't think of what people are going to say. Don't think of what if it doesn't work. Think of it this way. What if it works? What if you would never know until you put it in place? So what are you able to imagine? That's another question. If you could do anything, what would it be? That's a question for you today. If you could do anything, what would it be? So just like Walt Disney says, another mentor of mine, Terri Savelle Foy, says something. She says, if you can dream it, God can do it. So are you able to dream it up? God is waiting to accomplish those dreams, but He wants you to be able to dream. If you enjoyed this video, share it with other people, subscribe, just enjoy it. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. This is Olugbemisola with you again. Bye.